Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So we're up here in the second round, kind of surprisingly, after two really weird games. Well, one really weird game in specific. We were taking on Dallas in the first round, and it was kind of a back and forth series, but then we had this game. We were losing it like 4-1 at one point, but Avery Parrott picked up 4 goals in that game, and we managed to escape with a 7-5 victory, and then we won our last game of the series 6-3. So our offense has all of a sudden picked it up quite a bit over the last 3 games. Our defensive play is still not great, so I hope it improves here in the second round, but we are going to be taking on Boris Zykov and the Seattle Kraken to see who gets onto the conference finals. It's so weird that we're going to be going through another former player because we went through Bickle already. We are going to be going through, hopefully, Boris Zykov this year and get ourselves to a conference finals again. Whoever wins this round will face Chicago or Colorado. And then you still have Carolina, Pittsburgh in the East, and Buffalo, Ottawa. But yeah, I'm not really sold on our team's performance so far from a defensive standpoint. But from an offensive standpoint, like, the team really didn't do that bad. Like, good depth scoring. And you have all these guys here that are all point per game and above, which some of them are kind of surprising to me. Like LaRose was point per game. You also had Bobkov, who was point per game. Claxon was point per game. You have guys, though, like Keith, who were under point per game. Hartnell, who was under point per game. So if those guys start to step it up, this team could definitely do really good in terms of the playoffs. Everybody on our team had a point as well, except for the enforcer, Ethan Sabrin. So yeah, very impressed with the team offensively. From a defensive standpoint, not really sold on it. Like, we had quite a few guys really badly minus, especially Jorgensen, the old man. But hopefully they could get going in the second round a little bit. And then goaltending-wise, Aiden Tays, fantastic numbers. He was better than Koskarena, so I think I am going to start him here in the second round because he has definitely deserved it. He's put in good efforts time in and time again. Koskarena has been kind of more streaky in a sense, but we will give Koskarena another chance if Tays plays bad for another game. But if both goalies all of a sudden start playing like trash, we could call up Novikov from the AHL. But right now he's in a Calder Cup run, so I don't really want to call him up too early. So once again, let's take a look at the Kraken lineup, just in case you guys forget. And then we'll get into the second round and see if we can get ourselves back to the conference finals again. Didn't expect us to get this far in the playoffs already, just based on our defensive core being worse than last year. But here is the Kraken. As you can see, we definitely got to contain still Shane Wright. They do still also have former player Nasir Cassian, so a couple former players in Seattle. And a lot of older guys, but also some solid young guys too. But there is Boris Zykov. Only had the 1 goal in 5 games in the first round. So hopefully he doesn't score too much against us. So yeah, that is the Kraken. Let's take a quick look at what they did during the regular season and playoffs compared to us, because I don't think I took a look at that at the end of last episode. I think I was going to, but I completely forgot about it. So let's take a look at their stats in the regular season compared to us. So they had 11 points less than us. They were the last playoff team in our division. They scored less goals than us. Not a surprise, though. They were also worse defensively. Yeah, their goals against and goals for, very close. Only 1 less goal allowed than they scored. Really bad power play as well. 11.2%. And an 84.5% on the PK is really good, though. So on paper, I think we should be able to win this, but we definitely need to play better defensively than we did against Dallas, because Dallas had a worse team than this Kraken team. So that would not be good if we were to lose in this round. And hey, look, game 1 is on April 25th, 2038, on my 42nd birthday. Man, that's going to be really weird. It's like literally doubled my age almost. My God. Okay, let's get into round 2 and see if we could knock out the Kraken. They took out whoever they played in the first round in 5 games only. So that's a bit concerning. See what happens here. Game 1 on home ice. We have home ice advantage again. Can we knock out the Kraken and go to a 3rd straight conference finals? First period, 2-0 Kraken. I don't like that. Oh, man, I meant to put Tays in net. And, of course, Zykov was the one that opened the scoring in the series. Yeah, this is going to be a short series, I feel like. I feel like we're going to get knocked out here in the second round, but it is early. I shouldn't be saying that just yet, but that is not good. I should have probably put Tays in net, but Koskarena definitely not doing too well as a playoff goalie, so I think Tays is definitely getting a start next game. So Zykov scores, Jacobson scores. Shots are 9-9, so 2 goals on 9 shots. Yeah, Koskinen ain't doing too well. Can we get back into this game and maybe get at least 1 goal in the second period? Second period? 3-1. I mean, it's not bad, but we're still down by 2 goals. Kuleshov made it 3-0. But then Derek Keith gets us on the board, which is good. So at least it's somebody that hasn't scored in a while. We're down by 2 goals going into the third. We're out shooting by 6 shots. Can we find a way to get back into this game and tie it up somehow? Come on, guys. Let's get it done. Power play here early into the third, and we do not capitalize, and then they get a goal. Bus scores to make it 4-1. Yeah, Koskinen, you don't have a long leash, man. Good regular season, but not good playoffs. 5-1, Newman scores. Yeah, we're definitely going to get somehow like completely slapped here in the face, because our defensive play has not been good, and it's continuing to show like that. Like I said, we need to play better defensively than we did last round. The Kraken are better offensively than the Dallas Stars, and Dallas scored a lot against us. So our only goal is Keith from Bobkov and Parrott. So Parrott continues his point streak. But yeah, Boris Zykov picks up 2 points against his former team. Like, if Seattle beats us in the playoffs, hopefully they win a Stanley Cup in a sense, just so I can see that Boris Zykov wins a cup. But yeah, our goaltending has not been great. Either has the defensive play at times. So let's go to goaltending here. We're going to put Aiden Tays in net since he's been the better of the 2 goalies. And I might make another change. Yeah, Sabrin's up to 14 penalty minutes. He's taken a bit too much penalty minutes for my liking. I am going to put Hagos in, I think. And I am also going to move our lines back to the way they were just before Game 6 and Game 7. Or not Games 6 and 7. Game 5 and 6 of last round. So we'll go back to this type of look, I think. And yeah, hopefully Tays can get us some more wins here, because Tays has been good so far in the playoffs. Koskinen is not. So if Tays keeps winning games, he'll keep being in net. But we're down 1-0 in the series. If we could have at least a tie series headed to Seattle, I'll feel safe. But if we're down 0-2, I feel like we could endlessly get swept. So here we go. Let's see if we could tie the series up at 1. Come on, guys. Don't let Zykov get any more points too, please. First period of game number 2. 1-1. I will take it, I guess. They score first, but another power play goal from Avery Parrott. This guy's doing everything in his power to hopefully get this team to a Stanley Cup. He's had an outrageous playoff so far, at a 4-goal game. And yeah, he's been up to 11 points now, I think, in the playoffs. Shots are 12-9 in favor of Seattle, but it is a 1-1 game. Can we take the lead in the second period? Second period, 3-1 for us. Let's go. Jorgensen scores a power play goal and Darby scores. Our power play has been really good in the playoffs. That's one thing that's been consistent, because I'm pretty sure Parrott has like 3 or 4 power play goals in the playoffs. Jorgensen picks up one there as well. Good to see him on the board, and same with Darby. We have a 2-goal advantage going into the third. Can we lock this one down and tie the series headed to Seattle? Come on, boys. Keep it up. Keep it up. Not a lot of shots in this game so far between the two teams, and for us in particular. Oh, well, maybe we don't need a lot of shots to win games. And there we go. Darby scores his second goal of the night to make it 4-1. And that will be your final, as we have tied the series up at 1 heading to Seattle. We only had 26 shots, but we scored 4 goals. So good to see the defensive play play a lot better than the last game. And good to see our offense kind of pick up where it was in the last round. So Parrott 7th from Jorgensen, Darby from Kalinin and Jorgensen from Claxton and Darby, and Darby from Denny and Farrell. Damn, tongue twisters, man. But 3-point game for Darby. Love to see it. And also a 3-point game from our captain, Jorgensen. Not too bad. And yeah, Tays has been phenomenal in the playoffs. So Koskinen is not starting for quite some time until Tays has a terrible game. Because Tays has had like 3 or 4 quality starts, I should say. And he's won pretty much every one of his games so far at this point. Like, his only loss was in overtime as well. So Aiden Tays might be the man. Might be the man. He's been a career backup for us. He has played sometime in the playoffs before, but we've kind of alternated between him and I think it was like Duncan and whatnot, and also obviously Cox. Cox is in Washington now, and he's not in the playoffs anymore, so he got knocked out in the first round. Again, not a surprise. He's not that good of a goalie, right? So Keep the team the same. Let's see if we could win some games in Seattle. Because if we could win at least one of these 2 games, we might set ourselves up for some good stuff. But if we lose both these games, that's going to be iffy. So let's play a game like Game 2 and not a game like Game 1. Because Game 1 was bad defense, bad offense. Game 2 was good defense, good offense. So let's keep up our play from last game. Can we take a 2-1 series lead on the Kraken first period? 1-0 Kraken. Not great, but I mean, only down by a goal despite being outshot 14-6 is good. Our team definitely needs to get more rubber to the net though, because we can't always like rely on winning games with like under 30 shots. So let's see what happens in the second. See if we can tie this game up at 1. Second period, 2-1. Okay, we take the lead. Wong and Jorgensen. Love to see that Jorgensen's getting going. As like I said, he had a bit of a quiet first round, and there was underrated guys that were kind of taking over, but good to see the depth is still there. We're up by a goal going into the third, but the shots dead even at 22 apiece. Can we take a 3-1 lead maybe in this game, get some insurance, and then take a 2-1 series lead? That'd be great. Let's see what happens. Taze is playing good again in this one. Come on, boys. Let's get some insurance for Taze. Oh, and Yakupov scores a power play goal. Of course, it's a guy with the last name Yakupov as well. But that guy's not like the other Yakupov. Jorgensen scores again. Let's go. Jorgensen's having a really good second round here. That's what we need from the captain. We have a 3-2 game, and we are going to win 3-2, and we have taken a 2-1 series lead on the Kraken, and another win for Taze. Let's go, Taze. So Wong from Hartnell and Eichel, Jorgensen from Darby and Farrell, and Jorgensen from Farrell and Eichel. So, yeah, definitely Taze is our man, and definitely Jorgensen has been the best player for us in the second round, which is good because we need that depth to be good. That was not a bad. That was a good defensive effort, and the offense was solid as well. It wasn't fantastic, but still, we have a 2-1 series lead on Seattle. If we win this next game, we have a 3-1 series lead, and it looks like the team that wins this series will be facing the Avalanche, unless Chicago could win 4 straight games. I don't know what the Avalanche even look like at this point. Because probably a lot of their big guys like McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, all those guys are probably close to retirement, so I don't know if they're all still there or not. Let's keep the team the exact same. We're up 2-1 in the series, hoping for another big game from Aiden Taze. He's been phenomenal so far. I hope that he doesn't get randomly tired all of a sudden and he starts playing like crap. But can we take a 3-1 stranglehold on the Kraken? Come on, guys. Come on, let's be the Pirates of the Caribbean and take down a Kraken, you know. First period, scoreless. Good defensive period. Not a lot of shots. 7-6 in favor of us. So kind of maybe more of like a chess match right now. Like trying to figure out who makes the wrong move first, you know, that type of thing. So scoreless after 1. Can we find a way to grab the lead in the second period? Second period, still scoreless. Okay, and still not a lot of shots. 16-13 after 2. Yeah, this is a very well-placed chess match right now. And the question is, who's going to break first and make the wrong decision is the question. Let's see what happens in this third period. See if we can grab that lead. Come on, boys. Booze makes it 1-0. Boo. Hey, Darby gets a power play goal right back, though. That's huge from Darby. He's had a good second round as well. And Zykov, of course, our former defender, gives Kraken the lead again. Come on, guys. Let's get that back. Taze has not lost a game in regulation so far. Final 5 minutes. Please give me the next one. And we don't get that next one. Unfortunately, a good effort again from Taze. Well, actually not great. 2 goals on 19 shots. We outshot them badly, but unfortunately, we're going to lose in Game 4, and we have a tie series again. So very similar to the Dallas series so far. So Darby from Claxton and Danner is our only goal. Yeah, I wouldn't put that game on Taze. Even though he didn't face a lot of shots, he was still relatively solid. I would probably put that more on the team in a sense, like allowing 2 goals on that little of shots. It's not necessarily always on the goaltender, but this is definitely a close series, just like the last one we had. Chicago wins the game, so they stay alive another day. Let's go back to edit lines here, put Taze in again, because I don't think Taze was the problem in that one. And I might make some line adjustments again, just to try and fix things around. I forgot that we put Hagos in. He's not been doing too bad defensively, and he's taking less penalties, which is good. Let's move Claxton back up to that second line, because maybe I'll keep Jorgensen going, because it's a +5. And I think the rest of this should be okay. Yeah, I think the rest of this is fine. I could always try moving Denny up. 4 points, 10 games, 4 points, 10 games. Let's try moving Denny up, moving Danner down. Something really small like that. We don't really need to make drastic changes. We have a tie series at least, so. Okay. Can we take a 3-2 series lead here? Because this series right now is shaping up to be exactly like the Dallas one. If we can win these next 2 games, that'd be great. But we might end up going to a Game 7 in this round. Who knows? Here we go. Can we take a 3-2 series lead on the Kraken? Let's not let Zykov score more goals against us. He's already scored enough. First period of Game 5. 1-0 us. Let's go. And it's Bobkov again. This guy only scored 4 goals in the regular season. But as a playmaker in the playoffs, he's already up to like 3 goals, I think. So he's definitely outperforming his regular season goal total. But he did have like 40-something assists in the regular season. So he is a very good offensive player, though. Shots are 12-4 in favor of the Kraken. So we're getting badly outshot, but we have a 1-0 lead. So, yeah, Aiden Taze is definitely still on cloud 9 right now. He's been great. Hopefully he keeps it up in the second period. Second period. 3-0 us. Let's go. Kalinin and Darby. Yeah, that second line is definitely taking over for point production in this round. Shots are 24-13, but we're up by 3 goals. So we've scored 3 goals on 13 shots. We're getting outplayed, but we're winning games. So can't complain. And yeah, Aiden Taze is playing really good right now. Let's see what happens in this third period. Power play early in the third, and we do not capitalize. But yeah, I really like our defensive play in some of these games. I think we're playing much better defensively in this round than we did last round. Obviously, it could come crashing down all of a sudden, but still. Kalinin makes it 4-0. Okay, Kalinin, I see you. I see you. Was that his second goal of the night? I don't know. Wong makes it 5-0, and yeah, we're definitely winning this one. And Aiden Taze is going to pick up a shutout. Man, this guy's unreal. Like, I am curious on what his stats are like here in the playoffs. But he picks up a shutout, 5-0 win. Bobkov from Wong and Farrell, Kalinin from Danner and Reinhardt, Darby from Claxton, Kalinin from Darby and Danner, and Wong from Bouwmeester. And Aiden Taze picks up an assist too in the game. This guy's been phenomenal. No question about it. Kalinin the second star and Darby the third. I don't know what his stats are at, but I don't want to check yet until this round is over. Because, yeah, he's been, like, completely locked in. Like, he definitely has yanked that starting job here in the playoffs. And Darby's now leading our team in points. So, yeah, our second line is definitely taking over the point production here. And we will go back to Taze. Yeah, Koskarena, not good. I kind of want to take a look at Taze's stats, but I don't. You know, I'm going to take a look at him. I want to see what it's at. 940 save percentage through 8 games. And a 1.88 goals against. That is ridiculous numbers. And that's exactly what this type of team needs. Only 1 regulation loss. He's allowed 15 goals in 8 games. Well, Koskarena has allowed how much goals? 16 goals in 4 games. So he's allowed 1 more goal in 4 less games than Taze. Wow. Wasn't expecting Taze to be the starting guy here in the playoffs, but here we are. We're 1 win away from the conference finals for the 3rd straight year. Chicago survived another day, so Chicago might be forcing a Game 7 soon against Colorado. Buffalo's up in their series, and same with Carolina. Can we knock out the Kraken and go back to the conference finals? That would be a big surprise to me if that is the case. Come on, boys. First period of Game 6. Come on, Taze. 1-0 after 1. Bouwmeester scores. Let's go. Another good period from Taze and the defensive core, too. Shots are 15-8 in favor of us. We're up by a goal. I think that's Bouwmeester's first goal of the playoffs, too. So good to see guys that don't regularly score goals as well. Can we get some insurance here in the second period, please? Second period, 1-1. They tie the game up. It's a short-handed goal against from Papineau. Not great, but I mean, I'm still not putting this game on Taze, even if we lose it. Shots are 27-15 in favor of us. It's a 1-1 game. We're badly out shooting them, so their goaltender is keeping them in it. Can we find a way to grab that lead here in this third period and close out the series? Or are we going to a Game 7 back on home ice? Come on, guys. Let's get that next one. Let's get that next one. Hey, let's go, Ted Darby. Darby's been so fantastic in this second round. Him and Jorgensen. carrying the offensive load. Final 10 minutes here of this third period. And they get a goal. Alex Texier still playing at 38, but Ricardo Hartnell, the top liner, answers. We have the 3-2 lead. Final few minutes. Lock it down. Hey, and an empty netter from Darby, and we're going back to the conference finals. I did not expect that again. Last year, I didn't expect us to get to the conference finals, but we're going back again. How? This team is definitely doing better than Anchorage, than Houston, because Houston never made it to this much conference finals, I don't think. Woo! Let's go. Darby was fantastic in that round. I really like our second line's play. Bouwmeester from Keith, Darby from Jorgensen and Farrell. It looked like it was going to maybe go to an overtime situation, but Hartnell scores from Danny Parrott. That's the game winner. Darby gets an empty netter from Claxton and Danner. 3 stars of the game. Darby the first star, Texier the second star, and Hartnell the third. Man, Taze was also good in that game as well. And we are going to the conference finals again. Against either Colorado or Chicago. It's going to a Game 7. Chicago has rallied back from 3-0. So they're going to be a scary team if we have to face them in the conference finals. And yeah, Ted Darby, 15 points in 12 games. Love it. Let's take a look at our player stats after 2 rounds. Sorry to knock out Boris Zykov, but he could be on this team still if he wasn't asking for so much, you know. So Parrott point per game, he kind of slowed down in that round a little bit. Farrell has 11 assists, but no goals. Still great. Yeah, the depth scoring on this team is always so good. Derek Keith has been really not that good here in this playoff, so only 6 points in 12 games. But usually this guy steps it up in later rounds, if I remember right. So hopefully that's the case this year. Because if you look at this, 52 points in the last 2 playoffs. He's over point per game in his career in the playoffs too, so I'm expecting some good stuff from him in the conference finals, I hope. Also, Hartnell only has 5 points, so some of our top liners not doing too well. So hopefully those guys kind of wake up a bit. Darby's been fantastic. Bobkov's been a very welcomed addition to this team. Agos +1 in 5 games, only 2 penalty minutes. I had to scratch Sabern because of the penalty minutes, but he might get thrown back in the lineup soon. And then Jorgensen, 9 points. LaRose had no points in that round, but he was at least really good in the first round, so it's no complaints there. Danner, 7 points. Eichel, 6 points. Denny, 5 points. And then Bouwmeester and Kalinin both 4 points. And Strachan, 1 point. Danner's only -1, but he plays a lot of ice time. And, oh man, Aiden Taze is having a playoff for the ages. If he keeps it up on this pace, this might be one of the best playoff performances I've ever seen. 7-1-1 with a 9.38 and a 1.89. Yeah, sorry Coscarena, but Taze is starting the conference finals as well. Wow. Okay, who are we facing in the conference finals now that we do not know since Colorado's lost 3 straight games? Is it going to be Chicago? Is it going to be Chicago? No, it's going to be Colorado. So Chicago came back from a 3-0 deficit only to lose in 7 games. But we are going to be taking on Colorado, who also didn't have a great regular season, but they were 9-1 going into the playoffs. So this is an interesting one. They might have a solid roster, but if we're able to beat them, we might honestly be able to have a chance of getting to the Stanley Cup Finals again. Which I didn't expect that, because I didn't expect to go through all these kind of weaker teams in a sense, like in terms of their regular season numbers. Like, they could be a lot better team than I expect, but still. And Carolina and Buffalo in the East. So winner will have to face the winner of that series. Let's take a look at what those Avs look like. And then we'll take a look at what they've been doing playoff-wise and regular season-wise, what was their bread and butter. Here is Colorado. And it's an interesting roster. Gustav Gabreshkov, Leon Draisaitl playing in Colorado at 42 is kind of hilarious. And Mika Rutu. Second line, Harrison Zancanaro. Yeah. Dwayne McHeckern, which I believe I've seen that guy up there for Selkies. Or was that a different McHeckern that I'm thinking of? No, it was a different one that I was thinking of. They also have Abraham Porter. That's actually funny. If you're a Walking Dead fan, I think of Eugene Porter, obviously, and Abraham Ford. So it's just combining the two of them. So that's what I'm thinking of. Third line, Maxime Grandpierre. Cole Sillinger and Avery Gehring. And a fourth line of Stefan Kuhl. I don't want to say it like that. Brett Harrison and Daniel DeRocher. I don't know why they're playing this guy in the fourth line, because this guy is a very good goal scorer. He was a former 7th rounder. Why did you put him on the fourth line? And now he's not on the first power play. Wow, he drops from 53 goals to 17 goals because his ice time went down the tubes, I think. Yep. He literally dropped off by 7 minutes on ice time. What are you doing, Colorado? This guy deserves more ice time than that. He's 84 overall as well, and you're like throwing him down to the fourth line. Like, play him up here instead of Zach Gennaro. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't come back to bite us. Or not come back to bite us, but hopefully this guy doesn't bite us being a fourth liner. Defensively, Orlando Correa, Trey Farrell, another former player of ours. Let's go. 3 straight times you've had to face a former player. Trey Farrell, 31 points this year. 7 points in the playoffs. Pretty impressive. Second pairing has Russ Dumba and Eric Shantz, and a top 6 of Jacques Pouliot and Zachary Stillman. I feel like we have a shot, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Elijah Matsumoto. I know that name, I think. Yep, I knew that name. This guy beat us in the Stanley Cup Finals back 2 years ago. When we faced the Islanders, he was the starter. Harry Neal was the backup. He's not having as good of a playoffs this year, but yeah, I knew I recognized that name. And Lucas Dostal as the backup at 37. Depth-wise, they have Vero and Yuri Korobov. Interesting. I really don't know what to make of their team. They have definitely a lot of star power. We need to play better defensively than we did in the first round. We need to keep on the defensive pace, and Taze needs to continue playing like he did in the first 2 rounds. Okay, sorry about that. I had to make a little bit of a cut because my voice completely just decided to almost throw up on me, even though it's just it's just because I've been talking so much. I've recorded 3 straight episodes at least. Oh my. Okay. What I was going to do is take a look at what they did during the regular season compared to us, and also in the playoffs, and then we will end this episode. But, whew, at least we're back here up in the conference finals again. No Arizona to worry about this time around. But they were the 7th seeded team, so that's interesting. They scored a decent amount of goals, 3.17, but we were better. They were a little bit better defensively. That's kind of surprising. But, I mean, we don't have the best defensive record. Power play percentage, they were a little bit worse than us. And penalty kill-wise, they were much better than us. So they're a better defensive team on paper. They had the exact same amount of shorthanded goals as us as well. And 9-1 going into the playoffs is kind of scary. Makes me feel like they're going to go on a pace to win a Stanley Cup. Getting 9-1 in their last 10 games at the end of the regular season. And all of a sudden, playoff-wise, they're completely goated. Who did they go through to get up to this point? Because that's one last thing I wanted to take a look at. And then also their playoff numbers. So they went through Chicago in 7. They also went through the Arizona Coyotes, who went to won the Stanley Cup last year in 6 games. So Colorado might be the favorite this year, which is not good. Let's take a look compared to us, what they've been doing, though, in the playoff performance. They're scoring less goals per game than us. They're worse defensively than us. They're worse power play than us. And they're worse penalty kill-wise than us. So playoff-wise, we should be able to beat them. But this game has thrown a lot of curveballs at me in the past. So who really knows what's going to happen when it gets to this conference finals. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the conference finals again against Colorado as we look to beat Trey Farrell, our other former player, and get to the Stanley Cup finals against either Carolina or Buffalo. So anyways, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.